Good evening, everybody. It is 5 o'clock, and this is our special town board meeting of today, August 24th. Would everybody please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag
of the United States
of America
and
and
to
to
the
the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We have a continuance of a public hearing for a local law amending Chapter 125 zoning in the matter of revising the district schedule of use regulations to allow a motor vehicle repair and service establishment in the ORP zoning district pursuant to the issuance of a special use permit and site plan review and approval to provide criteria for such use. Everybody has the resolution accepting this. So I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2020-0175, accepting the revised proposed local law in continuation of a public hearing for proposed local law number to be determined of the year 2020, entitled A Local Law Amending Chapter 125 Zoning in the matter of revising the district schedule of use regulations to allow a motor vehicle repair and service establishment in the ORP zoning district pursuant to the issuance of a special use permit and site plan review and approval, and to provide criteria for such use. May I have a second?
Second.
Was that Alan?
Yeah, second.
Thanks. It's a public hearing. Are there any comments? We have the petitioner and the petitioner's planner here. No other members of the public are here to comment. Dan, Scott, anybody?
Oh, I'm going to bow out and not say that I'm really part of the public in this particular case. So we've read it, we've agreed with it. We're ready to go.
Okay. Are there any questions or any comments from the board or our attorney? Should I close the public hearing before we vote, Warren?
No, we're keeping the public hearing open. We're just rescheduling the continuation of the public hearing on the amended zoning law, which you now have. So the only thing we need to do is to set a date for the continuation of the public hearing, and just make sure that the notices are published. And if John needs any help with that, let me know. And we have to send the revised law to the planning board for their review and additional comment.
And the county.
And the county planning. And I think county already has the part one of the EAF, but if they don't, that has to be sent to.
Okay. All right, this is a continuance of a public hearing. It's not a public hearing. That's probably why no one's here, because this is amended. So our next town board meeting is, when is that? September
14th.
Does that give us enough time?
Let's see, 24th to 14th. Doesn't really give us enough time.
Let's set it.
What's the meeting after that?
Well, let's set it for the 14th and see, because the planning board meets on the 8th. They were in agreement with this in spirit before, and the county has already said it's a matter of local
concern.
Thank you. So I'd like to hold it. Let's put it on the agenda for our September 8th meeting. And for our September 14th meeting. And if we need to push it back, we are also scheduling some budget workshops. We could move it back till then.
Okay, so what time would that be?
6 p.m. The public hearing has already been continued until 6 p.m. on the 14th.
Okay.
This resolution sets the continuance for September 29th.
I think John put that in there. So we're going to
Yeah.
change it to September 14th. Okay.
Can we do that? Change it to September
Sure.
14th?
Yeah, before you vote on it. Yep.
Let's have a motion to amend the continuance to September 14th.
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second? Chauncey?
Second.
Thank you. John, is this okay with you? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So approved. So we will try and have this on our agenda for the 14th if we get a reply from the planning board on the 8th and the county, and if not, it will be moved to the 29th.
Okay.
So we've held,
Sounds good.
we've continued our public hearing to the 14th and the 29th need be.
Elizabeth, can I just ask one question?
Yes.
Maybe Warren, can you just outline the steps between here and hopefully the absolute amendment when that would be done? What meeting?
Well, after the public hearing is complete and we have all the input from the planning and the zoning board, we actually would complete our seeker review at that time. And by going through the part 2 and if necessary, part 3, and issue either a positive or negative declaration for seeker. And if it's a negative declaration, then we would go ahead and adopt the law, and the zoning would be amended at that point. And then the next step would be for the property owner to, with the new zoning law, to make whatever necessary application you have to make to the planning board for approval for special permit and site plan.
Right. So we're talking possibly on 9/14, you would wrap this up?
Yeah.
Possibly, maybe the 29th.
So
If not
9/14 and
If
then the
not
next,
the 14th, Scott, we have to hear back from the planning board. I know they meet on September 8th, and I am hoping that the county will move quickly as well, since this is not a major change to their original application. So if we hear back from County Department of Planning and the Planning Board by the 14th, we can continue our public hearing, hear any public comments, depending on what we hear from the public, close the public comment period and vote on this after we do our seeker.
And then we're done. Town board is done with it.
okay. So optimistically on the 14th, and you said the 29th is another meeting date?
If we can't get feedback from the planning board and county by the 14th, we'll have to vote, we'll have to continue the public hearing on the 29th, which it's already noticed for, and vote then after we hear public comments.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, next item on the agenda.
All right, thanks, everybody. I'm going to bail.
See you,
Okay,
Scott.
bye Scott, bye Dan, thanks.
Bye, Dan.
I don't think we need Warren for anything else, do we?
I don't think so.
Warren, if you want to go enjoy your evening, please.
Yeah, okay.
Thank
All
you.
right, good night, everybody.
On this.
Good night.
Good seeing you.
Guys, I've given you a budget schedule here. I'm planning, all of the budget worksheets went out. I've asked for them to be returned to me on the 9th, and I'll be meeting with department heads, committee heads, board heads, anytime between the 10th of September and the 18th. I am aiming, well, I will have my tentative budget to the clerk by Tuesday, September 9th, Tuesday, September 29th, so it can be laid down before you on at our regular town board meeting. We can commence the process for local law to override the tax cap if needed, but I don't see that as being necessary. I think the tax cap this year is about 1.58 or 1.6. I realize that we, as other municipalities, are in a lot of fiscal stress because of the loss of revenues from COVID and the other expenses we have, so we'll go lean to the bone. And I've scheduled workshops on Tuesdays and Thursdays in October, starting the 6th and 8th at 1 p.m. Does that work for all of you?
October 6 and 8.
Yeah.
with a possible adoption of the budget on Monday, October 26th at our regular town board meeting, or if I need to call a special meeting, I'll do that on for November 5th after the general election. Does that sound okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so just, I'd like a list from you of any capital plans or projects you'd like to finance. Just email me and copy the whole town board and Shelley, and we'll discuss.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, now back to our regular town board meeting. I would like a motion for resolution 2020-172 for the DEC compliant disposal of leaves and brush at town landfill.
Make that motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Alan. Just for the folks out there, the DEC has told us that our landfill is not compliant with closing it. We can no longer accept leaves and brush there, and we have to mulch what is already there. So we're looking at about an $8,000 expense to mulch it, and then we'll have to decide what we're doing with leaves in the future.
It sounds like once Rancor comes in and does that, this will be good for many, many years, far beyond when we'll be here. That's what I
Right.
understand.
Whether or not we can still accept leaves is another issue.
Yeah,
We can
no,
accept
DEC
brush.
said we can.
Whether we can accept brush, we
Leaves,
can
too.
accept brush.
Leaves.
Any further discussion?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. So we will have to do this every couple of years. It's
No,
an
I don't think so, because after talking to DEC, they think this will be good for many years.
And that's not what they said in the letter. They said every 2 years.
We got a new letter.
Okay. Okay.
We'll see.
We will
But
be
it's good.
compliant with the DEC and make sure that our landfill is still able to take brush and
Definitely,
leaves.
definitely. Yes.
Thank you. Resolution 2020-173, appointment to the CAB, Conservation Advisory Board of Joe Kupiak.
Make the motion.
Thanks, Ed. May I have a second? I'll make the second. Is there any discussion? This seat goes through the end of this year, Ed?
Yeah, we have to do something about this board, I think.
I think you're right, but we'll look at that in reorg. I don't know what we
Yeah.
can do. If we can give it to the planning board, or we certainly need a strong and a dedicated secretary. The board has a lot of work and a lot of responsibility. We have a lot of turnover. It's a hard board.
Yeah, it really is.
And, worthwhile. They sort of look at all of our plans before the planning board through the lens of what's needed for our environment and our wetlands law and our LWRP. So I agree, but I want to thank Joe for stepping forward. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. I need a motion for resolution 2020-174 to upgrade town and village internet service for a faster modem speed.
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Ed. Is there any discussion?
Yeah,
All in favor?
okay.
Oh,
I was just going to say, the reason we need this is because of the COVID isolation requires us to do Zoom meetings, and the bandwidth we have isn't enough. So we can, as soon as we go back to normal, if providing that
wait,
happens.
the bandwidth isn't enough to have 2 Zoom meetings concurrent in the village at the same time.
Or between the town and the village.
Yeah.
And the village pays 1/3, we pay 2/3. It's $100 a month shared, and we can terminate it when we go back to normal.
If need be. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Any other discussion or comments or new business?
Comment, please remember that we have a member of the Ethics Board leaving. He's timed out at the end of this year, so we're going to need an appointee to the Ethics Board at the reorganization meeting, and it needs to be somebody who's not a Democrat.
Well, we'll deal with that in rework.
We need a candidate.
You say not a Democrat?
Yeah, we can't have, no party can have a majority, and we have 2 Democrats, Joe Gelb and Beth, so
Okay.
it has to be a Republican or a conservative or an NLP. So I'm looking for suggestions.
Okie dokie. Any other comments or new business? Hearing none, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, guys, thanks. I'll talk to you soon. Bye,
Hello.
everybody.